Guardian Angel, an Angelica Dale mystery by P.K. Armstrong. Chapter 15. So, did you finish reviewing the Sinclair Academy incident reports? Angel wasn't prepared for the call from Detective Roland. She knew he realized she hadn't planned on telling him about the small acts of vandalism at Sinclair Academy, but she couldn't help that. Because although in her mind she was sure they were connected, she had no evidence of that connection. She thought he may be a little perturbed at her. Angel hesitated. Yes? Roland laughed. The captain, in your defense, explained that you would have told me once you were sure of the connection, although it doesn't explain why he let you observe my interrogation. Angel decided to ignore that. So you reviewed the reports as well? You think I'm way off base. No, Roland denied. I was calling to see if you were able to connect the other incidents, besides the car vandalism, to Violet's attack. Angel was still a little wary. No, they seem random, but I can't shake the feeling they are connected, and I have no idea what they have to do with Violet's attack. Maybe I can help, Roland replied. Have you had lunch yet? Angel let Roland pick the restaurant and was surprised by his choice, Wilton's. It was a popular lunch spot for business working lunches, casual first dates, and social meetings for middle-aged ladies of leisure. She wondered in which of the former groups they fit into. Angel, who never described herself as girly, could have kicked herself when the first thought she had was, "What should I wear?" As she pulled up to valet parking, she looked up and saw Roland walking toward her, and sighed out loud. He had good taste in clothes, and was wearing nice jeans, an untucked white dress shirt, and a black sports jacket. The man was too good looking. It could get distracting, and Angel could lose focus. "Hey," Roland said as he opened the restaurant's outer door. Angel walked through the door and out of the corner of her eyes could see Roland checking out her outfit. It was difficult to plan for a casual luncheon with a man like Roland. She hoped her dark silk jumpsuit and animal print heels looked unplanned. The door closed behind them, and Roland secretly smiled. He wholly approved of her sense of style. He also knew what she was probably thinking. He felt a little guilty knowing his restaurant choice was throwing her off her game. After they sat down, Roland discombobulated her even more. "I should apologize first for not being there when you made out your statement about the suspect description. I hope you weren't upset," he asked, as if he knew she was. "No, not really. I did hope everything was okay," she obfuscated. "A patrolman found some discarded items that could have possibly been used by the perpetrator in Violet's attack, so I left for the scene." "So were they used?" "They are with the lab. We will know soon. The captain has fast-tracked all reports on Violet's case." Angel nodded and started looking at the menu. "You said maybe you could help?" She had leaned in and spoke softly, mindful of their surroundings. Roland looked at Angel directly, then down at the table, sensing she was trying to maintain a casual air. He was beginning to wonder what it would be like to be not so casual with her. "You get right to the point, don't you? Let's order first." Angel shrugged her shoulders slightly, as if it didn't matter to her, and picked up her menu again. "Have you been here before?" he asked. Angel nodded. "Yes, my mom and I usually come here to have lunch. It's the only time and place she can have a shrimp salad without having to look at my dad's eyes rolling. He hates it when you take a perfect food like shrimp and make it healthy by putting it on a bed of lettuce." Angel took a steadying breath to stop her babbling, but couldn't figure out where to go with the conversation, and she was beginning to resent the fact because she suspected Roland was completely aware of her discomfiture. "Your mom the psychiatrist and your dad the cop?" Angel looked at him, and Roland answered her unasked question. "The captain filled me in." "Yes, but my dad's retired early. He probably would have been a captain or even chief by now, but then—" Her voice faltered. Angel realized she had begun running off at the mouth again, telling a perfect stranger something she never talked about with anyone else. He was becoming very distracting. Roland could see she probably said more than she had meant to, and decided to take mercy on her. "Funny, I bring my mom here too whenever she is visiting." He looked down at his menu. "They do a really good chicken strip." He glanced up with a smile in his eyes. "Salad," he finished. Angel chuckled, relieved to talk about something else. "Where does your mom visit from?" Angel asked, glad to contribute something to the conversation without babbling. She and my father still live in my childhood home, which is in Osgood. Maybe you know it? Angel nodded. Yeah, about 120 miles north of here? She smiled. You're a country boy. Yep, not a farm, just so you know, but I'm a small town boy. Football? Yes, college scholarship. He paused as if expecting a comment. When Angel remained silent, he continued. I majored in kinesiology, but switched to criminal justice my second year. What made you switch? They were interrupted by their server before Roland could answer. Roland ordering fish and Angel, satisfying her craving for pasta, ordered homemade ravioli. What made you switch? Angel repeated after the server left. Actually, it was a run-in with the sheriff's deputies. Really? Angel said with a small knowing smile on her lips. No, it's not what you're thinking. Roland stopped, his face serious. One night we were coming home from a frat party. My friends had been drinking, but I was the designated driver that night. We saw this minivan get hit by a drunk driver. It rolled over several times and landed on its roof. We jumped out to help. My friends called 911, but as we approached the car, a fire started. We froze. We didn't know how to approach. The deputies were there in minutes. Jumped out, approached the burning vehicle, and got the woman and her three kids out. After the initial shock, I started helping with first aid, but I felt so inadequate that night. I never saw real life heroes in action before, and I wanted to be like that. Brave, you know. Angel watched Roland's face while he told his story, and her heart burst with the emotion of that night, as it was clearly painted on his face. She smiled at him, all the while realizing that his strength and conviction were yet another reason she was attracted to him. Overcome with emotion, yet unable to express any words, she smiled again and was relieved when their meal arrived. After lunching, their coffee had arrived, and she looked deliberately at Roland over her cup. He began, So I looked at the police reports you pulled, and I was struck by the randomness. Angel nodded, and he continued. So I began looking for similar reports of vandalism over the past 18 months. That probably returned a lot of reports, Angel interjected. Roland agreed, put his cup down on the table, and poured himself more coffee. Yeah, I reached about 60 and decided to enlist our crime analyst's help. At first, we couldn't find a common link between vandalism, property crimes, schools, and assaults, or attempted sexual assaults. Then we removed schools and assaults. Roland paused and watched as Angel processed his words. Wait, why look at the cases if you're going to remove vital variables? So you don't think they are connected? Angel asked in a rush. Roland held up his hand to stop her cascade of questions and then motioned for the bill. How about walking off some of this lunch and I will finish explaining? The late afternoon sun was still warm, but an early breeze was making the day turn cool. Roland and Angel strolled towards the promenade, another Ella Sinclair property. At first, they didn't say anything, both realizing they were content to walk in each other's company with their private thoughts. But Angel's curiosity got the better of her, and she asked again, So you don't think the cases are connected? Roland shook his head. I'm not saying that, but think about it. Crimes against property are often standalone. You can have a career criminal with 100 arrests, and they will all be crimes against property. He or she can go his whole life never escalating to violent crimes. Agreed? Roland motioned for her to sit on a nearby bench. Angel sat thinking. Agreed. That makes the assault and school outliers. So exactly what did you find? Roland sat down next to her, sitting a little sideways so he could watch her face. So we took the school and assault variables out and found the Sinclair Academy incidents mimicked a very specific vandalism MO. For about 35 property crimes, there were even 12 cases where the refrigerator was sabotaged in the same way. Angel was not completely convinced. And the fire? Fires were started in all the properties, usually with a lighter or matches, some type of accelerant, and any combustible material found on site. Roland watched Angel's expressive face, and he could see the wheels turning. But that theory doesn't take into account that the attack on Violet was not random. He waited for her to come down that path. Angel fired back. Roland reached out and rested his hand on Angel's arm, and she stopped and took a deep breath. Angel, I know finding who attacked Violet is the most important thing here. Believe me when I tell you, I have not forgotten her. But we need to follow this lead even though it seems we're going off track. Roland took his arm away, but Angel could still feel the heat where it had been. Besides, he paused for a dramatic effect. I haven't told you the most compelling reason for following up on the property crimes. Angel sat up straight and looked at Roland directly. All of the properties are owned by Rain Holdings. While Angel took the time to digest this bit of information, Roland stood up and pulled her to her feet, and they continued walking. He finished. All of the properties were recent acquisitions of Rain Holdings. The promenade was beginning to fill with people intent on a pleasant evening out. The light emanating from the turn of the century reproduction drop lanterns that lined Main Street provided soft, romantic lighting. Angel and Roland began walking closely down the street, not touching, but closely in companionable silence. Angel was thinking about Violet. Roland was thinking about Angel. It was a few minutes before either spoke. So you'll go see Simon Rain? It was a statement. Angel knew that if it were her case, that would be her next move. Roland was about to respond when a small family group stepped out from a coffee shop and almost ran over them. Roland put his arm around Angel's shoulders and slowed her before a collision. The family smiled at them and parted as they walked through. Angel was very aware of Roland's arm still loosely draped over her shoulders. He stopped, turned her around to face him, and put both hands on her shoulders. I will talk to him. He is key to this case. And if he has any connection with Violet, we will get him, I promise. His hands slipped to his sides, and he thought for a minute. I wish I had some more intel before I interview him, but there isn't much I can get without a warrant. Angel thought for a minute and then began to smile slowly. Roland could tell she was on to something. Angel, what are you thinking about doing? It's not that I'm about to do something suspicious. It's about what we are about to do. That is, get some more information on Simon Rain. And how are we going to do that? You are going to escort me to a gala. Angel was lying in bed later that night, surprisingly not thinking about the case, but about Detective Christopher Roland. They had walked around more and even stopped for coffee and dessert. She had enjoyed being with him. Even when they weren't talking about the case, they seemed to find other things to talk about comfortably. When they did talk about the case, she liked that he spoke to her like his investigative equal. In her career, she often had to deal with men who thought less or nothing of her skills because she was a woman. There were men she worked with that knew she was good at her job and respected her for it. Captain Davis, Aiden Penrod, and it felt good to know Christopher Roland was one of them. Angel yawned and sunk into her pillow. Roland was right about the cases being connected, at least the vandalism cases. It irked her somewhat that if Roland was right, she had no idea where Violet's assault fell into the mix. She got no further with her wanderings as she drifted off to sleep.